Liverpool, we had a go at them on Monday for furloughing staff, and Peter Moore listened. I got a text from him saying that, Gab, I listened to the compelling arguments you and Jules put out on your podcast Monday morning about how it wouldn't be a good look for us and we really wouldn't be saving that much money by furloughing our staff. And so by evening, they made a U-turn after listening to our show. So no, just kidding. Obviously, this wasn't it. It probably wasn't just our show. I think they added up the sums and said, well, wait a minute. If we furlough non-playing staff, we're going to save ourselves, what, a maximum of £2,500 a month per person, which, given the size of their staff, was going to be, no more than 1.25 million, possibly 1.5 million at a stretch. And while the cash would have been useful, the damage to the club's rep, and the loss of goodwill would have just been enormous.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I love what Liverpool are, what they represent in our community, what they've been doing for the last 5 years. I've got no sympathy, or a lot of people praise the decision to go back on their word and change their mind. They were forced into a U-turn by public outrage because in the first place it was a stupid decision. So I've got really no sympathy for them. Okay, good, they did the right thing eventually, but it's not about listening and they listened and they took the right decision and all those praises. They didn't listen to anything. If they knew their fans, they would have never and their staff, they would have never taken that decision in the first place. So that's my rant about it. But you have to say it's the right decision. And now, go on.
No, I just say I think from their part they probably felt, and I think this is something people haven't pointed out, or not they, but whoever's idea this was at Liverpool, and I have an idea who it was, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but he got sacked.
Drove this. The basic notion was, well, wait a minute, this is a government scheme. This is taxpayer money, right? We pay taxes. We pay large amounts of taxes every year, right? As a football club, and so in a way, it's like when you buy insurance, right? This is the government making it available to businesses like ours to help them so that we can continue employing people. We've kind of paid for it in advance because we paid a lot of money in taxes. There's nothing wrong with us doing it. I think that was the calculation more than we absolutely need this, otherwise Liverpool Football Club is going to go bust. I don't think it was that.
Yeah, but it's what we were saying on Monday. You take advantage of the system when you don't need to. You don't have to because you've got enough money to not furlough your staff.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's probably to some degree what it boils down to. But I think larger than that is just the reputational damage. When you've got everybody from Spirit of Shankly to Jamie Carragher to Kenny Dalglish questioning this, then you realize, well, wait a minute, we spend a lot of money on building up goodwill and doing things in the community. This kind of invalidates that. Let's take a step back. So, you might not want to say, well done Liverpool for doing a U-turn. I think I will say, well done Liverpool for doing a U-turn because other clubs who could have done a U-turn aren't doing it. I'm not talking about Norwich, who are obviously in a horrendous situation. I'm only the vague idea of finances, and this is one of the problems. But I certainly would blame Norwich a lot less than I would have a go at other clubs.
But you understand why Spurs are not doing a U-turn. And again, we don't know all their financial books, and we don't know exactly the situation they're in. But we also know that they posted a very, very hefty profit not long ago.
Yeah, I mean, they would say maybe they're paying for the stadium or whatever, but you know what? I think you kind of lose a moral high ground when Spurs are, when at the same time they announce a £7 million bonus for Daniel Levy, their chairman, and their main shareholder is a tax exile. He is somebody, Joe Lewis, and I always wonder why nobody ever points this out. They'll always have a go at Daniel Levy, and they'll have a go at other owners, whether it's Abramovich or Mansour or the Glazers, obviously. But let's be clear. This guy, Joe Lewis, is a guy who's English, who grew up here, who's a self-made billionaire, and benefited from the state schools and the state education and the resources of being in England. And then at some point decided to move offshore and become a tax exile. and not pay as many taxes as he would have otherwise paid. Now, it's entirely legal. The system is set up to allow him to do it. I just have a bit of an issue when this guy takes the moral, I don't expect this guy to take the moral high ground. This guy doesn't sell himself as, look, I'm a people's person, I'm in a community club, I'm Spirit of Shankly. This is not how Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy present themselves. So there's no hypocrisy there with them. We know this is who you are. You are a tax exile. You are a tax avoider, okay? But, Liverpool's different, and they operated different, and that's why they made the U-turn in the end.
Yeah. No, that's right. And we saw last night as well the players getting together. I was going to say eventually or finally, but it's not so much that. I think they were at the heart of, and we will touch upon that later on the show with John Musinho and the PFS stuff, but they were the heart of maybe an argument between the Premier League and the government and all of this and all of that. But they got together to announce that they would create a foundation or a fund at least to give money to NHS and charities and where it deserves called Players Together, which is great. We don't have any ideas and they haven't mentioned any numbers or stuff, but that's not the point here. The point is they all got together to create that thing to go forward with it.
I will give the players some advice for free, by the way. And I have no idea. All we have is this announcement or whatever. But knowing the media a little bit in this country, as we both do, and the moralizing and the sanctimoniousness, and especially since the PFA are telling the Premier League, guys, we are willing to make sacrifices, but you have to open up your books and you have to show us all your numbers and you have to tell us exactly how this money will be used and you have to be sure that you're making a loss. What I would strongly urge the footballers to do who are participating in this program is complete and total transparency and be able from day one to say, this is what everybody's contributed. Obviously you can make tax deductible donations. It's called gift aid in the UK. Some people use it and they get a tax benefit out of it. Other people say, no, I want my gift aid benefit to go to the thing. Be totally straight up and honest about what people are doing, what people have participated in, which people are getting a tax benefit out of it. And obviously getting a tax benefit doesn't mean that you're making money off it. You're still, contributing a ton of money. But explain everything and be as transparent as possible, because you just know people are gonna have a go at you, right?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.